Bronterre, the absentees. Trade Commissioners 13-8, 5-2 Tullius, Sovereign Debt is 9-2, 10-1 Set the Trend, Highland Knight 11, 16s Rocinante and Mehdi 50s.
Can Trade Commissioner continue his relentless ascent through the ranks by winning his first pattern race at the first attempt? 13-8 favourite So To Do. He is the second lowest rated horse in what is habitually one of the strongest Group 3 races in the calendar, Chris. And in horses like Tullius and Sovereign Debt and Set the Trend, he faces useful opposition. There's good pace in the race which will suit him, but the fundamental question is he classy enough to take down good opposition in this Group 3?
I think he probably is. He's going to need to improve again, but he continues to improve. I think that the price is a little bit tight, but let's have a look at the depth of his form, Nick, because he's a horse who's progressing fast. He's won 3 of his last 4 starts, including last time out at Sandown on easy ground. He beat the consistent Vain Glory by 3 parts of a length that day, but in behind you've got Field of Dream, who'd been 4th in the Hunt Cup prior to that and has won a handicap at Ascot off a mark of 99 since then. Fulbright, who's in behind here and beginning to run on, he's in the yellow cap, is Fulbright, I think. He runs on from towards the back of the field, in the red cap. He's won 3 starts since then, including a very competitive Betfred Mile at Glorious Goodwood. So there's real depth to this form, and he is progressing all the time. He wins that quite cosily. I think there's more to come. He's into a Group 8 race for the first time, but his handicap form is strong. Softer ground than previously, I think, here, but it is drying slightly. That will probably help him, and he does have easy ground form. One note from the paddock, he was getting a little bit warm, but other than that, it's largely positive with him. He's proving easy to back.
Yeah, you can say far more kind things than unkind things about most of these horses. That's certainly the case as regards Tullius. Not a horse who necessarily wants to see the front too soon, but it didn't stop him winning his first 3 starts for this stable since leaving Peter Winkworth. And last time out, he ran perfectly well when 3rd in the Group 2 Summer Mile at Ascot. He likes cutting the ground. Indeed, some of his best form has come on a rather sort of dead holding surface, which is not dissimilar to the surface we've got this afternoon.
Yeah, those 3 wins that he rattled off quickly for this yard, having joined them, all came with cut in the ground. The run at Ascot last time out was the toughest task that he'd been set to this point, and he acquitted himself admirably to be beaten a length in Group 2 company behind Van and Alta there. He's consistent, he's straightforward, he's genuine, he's versatile regards ground, but he does like these kind of conditions that he's got this afternoon. The yard won this race with Side Glance 12 months ago. They took the feature race on the card yesterday. Their horses generally are in good form, and just like Trade Commissioner, this is a progressive horse. Yes, he's seemingly on the face of it a little bit more exposed because he's had more starts, but he's already improved on the official scale some £20 since joining the Andrew Balding stable, and who's to say that there might not be a couple pound more improvement to come? Not necessarily that there needs to be, Nick, because he's already the highest rated horse in the race.
He of course won the Suffolk handicap at the Guineas meeting, and his victories in stakes races followed subsequently, which has seen his rating rise to 112. He is a tough, honest, classy animal. Sovereign Debt is a horse who, for all he's not rated as highly as Tullius, is a horse with just flashes of brilliance through his career, but there have been 1 or 2 dot balls as well. I'd be interested to see what kind of effort he can produce this afternoon.
He gets weight from the older horses here, so a mark of 106, and getting weight from the rest of them, he's got a very good chance on these terms, and he himself is an improving horse. He's got better by the run really so far this season. He started out with defeat at Doncaster, might just have needed the run there. He then got back on track with a win, an impressive win by 3.5 lengths at Ascot on easy ground. Then he was probably a little bit unlucky, left a little bit too much to do, not best placed, but travelling well and running on strongly in the Jersey before coming back to form with an easy win on rain softened ground at Newmarket over the course of the July meeting. That day he travelled well, he quickened nicely, and what he wants is easy ground in a well-run race, and that's exactly what he's going to get here. He's an improving horse, and I think he's got a very good chance.
Andrew Balding has a real stranglehold on this race in many respects, because not only does he field Tullius, who is almost certain to give his running, but he also runs Highland Knight, who is a horse who likes to race prominently, and he used to train Set the Trend, who was second in last year's Celebration Mile for him, who's the likely trailblazer, I'd have thought.
Yeah, Highland Knight had Set the Trend in behind him when winning last time out Pontefract in listed company. That looks like a solid enough race. He beat,
good time, wasn't it?
It was a good time. Time figure was good. Rugged Cross the second is a reasonable enough horse himself. He's a reasonable yardstick, I think. It looks like quite a good race. This is, however, tougher, and he needs to probably improve again on the back of a career best effort last time out. The concern with him, I suppose, is that he had easy ground earlier on in the season at Newbury, and he didn't go well in it, particularly on that occasion. He handled it early on in his career in a try at Newmarket. As for Set the Trend, who he used to train, well, he hasn't hit the very best of his form so far in 2 starts for David O'Meara, but you fancy the O'Meara stable will get the best out of him at some stage.
Loading up fairly swiftly here. There's some money prices for Rockinante, one of the 3 3-year-olds in the race.
Yeah, Richard Han and Richard Hughes' team, quite a free-going horse. This will be the most testing ground that he's encountered so far, but he does have some solid form lines. Look at that run in France when he finished 4th in the Jebel. That was a promising enough reappearance.
All in for the 2012 running of the Sovereign Stakes. Here's Mark Johnson.
And they're off in the 13th running of the Tokepool.com Sovereign Stakes. Towards the outside, Medi was away alertly. Highland Knight scrambled to try and get a piece of it early. And over on the far side is Sovereign Debt. These then being tracked by Set the Trend in the pink colours. They're all getting very, very closely grouped as they race through the first quarter mile. Rockinante had to be snatched right up off heels as Sovereign Debt has come in and squeezed them up. And it's now Highland Knight and David Probert who is setting a little bit of pace to it. Now racing in second position is Medi, who's against the inside rail. Next in the field is Sovereign Debt. These then being followed by Set the Trend. Tullius is next in the field. Rockinante taken off heels now by Richard Hughes, clear sailing down the centre of the course. Trade Commissioner held up, but now begins to make a move on the outside of the leading group. 4 furlongs to go in the 13th running of the Sovereign, and they're now beginning to bunch up. Rockinante out wide on the left is now coming through to shade it with Highland Knight in the purple. Medi against the near side rail. Sovereign Debt's racing in 4th, and in 5th is Set the Trend, followed by Trade Commissioner, who's got every chance, and Tullius will try and follow him through. 2.5 furlongs to go, it's wide open. Rockinante's now been ridden along, and so too is Highland Knight. Trade Commissioner now is being driven by Will Buick, and he's not finding in the centre as they race down now inside the final furlong and a half. It is Highland Knight to the near side together with Tullius and Sovereign Debt between horses. Then Rockinante and Set the Trend. On the wide outside is Trade Commissioner. They're inside the final furlong. Sovereign Debt, Highland Knight and Tullius with a noseband. Tullius and Sovereign Debt, these two with 100 yards to go. Tullius has just got his nose in front, racing up towards the line. Tullius wins and gives Andrew Balding his 3rd win in the Sovereign Stakes. It was Tullius who took the 13th running of the Tokepool.com Sovereign Stakes.
How Andrew Balding must love this place. 1st and 3rd in Salisbury's annual feature, the Sovereign Stakes, with Tullius and Highland Knight. The brace of Balding runners were split by Sovereign Debt, who has run an excellent career best in 2nd, and the front 3 are clear with Trade Commissioner up to pattern class disappointing. Opera provided Balding with a listed winner in the Upavon yesterday. Tullius has won this, and for good measure he's won this race twice in the past with the classy Passing Glance, and last year his son's Side Glance. Tullius every bit as tough as the aforementioned, and he's landed his 4th success in 5 runs since joining this stable, and he continues to progress, and he gets on really well with Jimmy Fortune, who preserved this horse's run as long as he feasibly could, Chris.
Yeah, he didn't look to be doing a great deal once he hit the front there. He was probably in front early enough for him, Tullius, there, but he kept on responding. We mentioned all those likeable qualities that he has beforehand. Chief amongst them is consistency, but all the rest of it, how genuine he is under pressure, the way that he runs on and finds off the bridle, all of those things were displayed here in what is probably a career best performance for him. It's his 1st win in Group Company. He ran really well in Group 2 Company last